Happy morning, Academy. This is a Wednesday morning. It's raining in New York City, and I'm coming to you. This is what's the 5th day of January 2022. I don't know when you listen to this, but what we try to do is what we call evergreen content, which is applicable any time of your life. We're looking back at tapes. We're listening to personal development stuff from the 50s, from Earl Nightingale, from the 70s, 80s, 90s, from Jim Rohn, and they're still relevant. They're still applicable. The Bible is the root and the source and the base and foundation of all motivational stuff that was written thousands of years ago, and it's still relevant. Our content is pretty much the same thing, and we're going through this mini series. We're taking about 6 episodes to cover some of the don'ts of winning a new year. Any new year you're in, whether this is the one you're in 2022 or this is 2023, whenever this reaches you, because the beauty of the age and time we live in, this thing is out there in the public domain, and you can come upon it 10, 15, 20, 3, 4, 5 years after it was released. And as we say, the content that we do is relevant for years to come, because this is based in sound principle. People say I always say the same thing, and that is actually a plus, because it means that it is not a tactic, it's not a hack, it is fundamentals. And fundamentals and principles and rules never change. You can change the tactics and the strategy 10 times over, but the fundamentals still remain the same. So we talk about what are some of the common things that hold people back. And if you go back to listen to the other episode, we talk about structure, lack of structure, and we talk about, which was the first topic. I think the first topic was about discipline. And now we're going to talk about one other huge thing that people don't realize that is a big factor in their life. And it's not about haters. Many people will come out here and talk about, oh, the haters are holding us back, and the haters trying to do this, and people are trying to block this, and they don't want to give me the promotion, and the people in the office are undermining my work, and people don't cooperate and all that stuff, and people are trying to sabotage my business. But they overlook the negative effects of the friends they have that are not in alignment with where they want to go. As this common saying, you hear it all the time, over and over, that you are the average of the 5 people you spend most of your time with. And people don't realize that that's a big don't, and that don't is to not saturate your life with people who are not on the same mission, who don't have the same dreams, who don't find themselves doing the same things, or trying to go for what you're going for, because it is a distraction. It's gonna rob you. When 2 people go out to walk, when 2 people go out to run, whether they just going somewhere or they having their regular exercise in the morning, someone is gonna adjust to someone's pace. You naturally are gonna adjust. Now, the kicker is that if you are trying to break old habits, if you are trying to pull yourself out of the grip of common impulses, you will more likely be susceptible to falling into the ease trap than you are to go in the discomfort zone, to break your comfort zone. Meaning that if you are trying to cut back on your shopping, if you're trying to do something better with your spare time, if you're trying to focus more, if you're trying to eat better, if you're trying to exercise, and your friends are not trying to do that, you're more likely to be thrown off track by following what they do than you are likely to get them to do what you are doing. You have to find your people, and you have to spend your time with your people. If there's no person, you have to spend your time with the virtual people if they're not there physically. And if you can't find that, you have to spend your time around the ideas. I'm saying that you have to create your environment in terms of relationships with people who are on the same mission as you are. Otherwise, it's going to be a drag. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to do it well. Or you have to slot away the time and take yourself out of that and go pursue it in the time that you have allotted to it. So if you have your evening hours 5 to 8 that you're doing this thing, you have to get rid of the phone, put it somewhere else or turn it off, and go work on your craft, and then you come back over here. That is not the best strategy, but it's the better strategy. What do I mean by that is not the best strategy? I mean that if you can advance by 10 and you have people around you, even if you slot away the time and do it, and you could advance by 10, but every time you go back to the same old crowd after you have done your own thing, you're only going to advance by 7, because your entire life is not saturated with the vision and people who are in alignment with where you want to go. You have to immerse yourself in that world. And sometimes when we are jumping between worlds, we're going over here, we're doing our gym, we're doing this thing, we're doing our fitness, we're doing our business, and then we back to this crowd and I'm not judging anybody and saying anybody's a bad crowd. It's not a bad crowd either now. I'm just saying that the crowd you roll with must be mainly in alignment with where you want to go, or you're going to have to spend very little time with that crowd. You have to spend most of your time elevating yourself in your own space and with people who are going where you're going, and then you reduce the time that you spend with a crowd who are not on your mission. I'm not telling you to go drop friends and cut off people. This is not that type of episode or that type of conversation we're having this morning. What I'm telling you is that there is an invisible influence and pull that your environment naturally have on you. I'll say that again. There is an invisible pull and energy and influence that your environment, the people who you hang with, naturally, subconsciously have on your life. If you do not surround yourself, especially when you're trying to break out of the old way and going into a new way, if you want the change, if you want the transformation, if you're not able to pull yourself from that and focus on your agenda, on what you want to do, on where you want to go, and what is important to your life, what will happen is that you will spend your time following the program of this whole environment of people who are not going where you want to go, who don't want the same things out of life. And you will be in quiet desperation. You'll be miserable, you'll be unhappy, and you'll be using their life to numb your pain in moments, but long term you'll be going through depression and stress and anxiety, because you know deep down, and your true spirit is going to be knocking at you for you to create something, but you are distracted, and they're forming layers upon layers upon layers and carrying you down roads that you know deep down that's not in alignment with where you want to go, but you're fitting it and you're aligning because of the social relationships. You are a social animal, and the social will grip you. Remember, I told you that nobody is stronger than the pull of daily life. Nobody is stronger than the pull of human nature. So, here's where you want to go. Here's what you need to do to get to where you want to go. Here's who you need to be to get to where you want to go. You have to now ensure that your environment, in terms of your relationships, are aligned with that, or that the people you spend your time around are aligned with where you want to go. Otherwise, you're going to have to separate yourself from that. You're going to have to cut off the time periods and have the boundaries where you say, okay, I don't care what is happening over there in that little crowd. I don't care what's going on now. I don't care what's the latest up there, the latest news, the latest gossip, the latest sports result. That doesn't matter. Between 6 in the evenings and 10 at night, I sit myself down. I'm not telling you to give up your life and give up your friends. I said that before. You're going to sit down and you're going to dump your time and your energies and your focus and your efforts into pursuing what it is that you want to create. And I did a lot of episodes last year about creating something, because there's absolutely nothing more powerful than creating something that can sustain you, that makes you better, that is as a result or is a product of what's inside of you, of your goals, desires, aims, and your vision for your future. So that's one of the don'ts of a new year when you're trying to change. Do not stay in the same environment, in the same social relationships, spending all your time there when you're trying to go somewhere and do something separate from what they are doing. Not separate in a specific way, but separate but in a general way, meaning they don't have a mission to get out of the 9 to 5 that you have. If you're an entrepreneur, surround yourself with entrepreneurs. If you want to advance your career and climb the corporate ladder, surround yourself with people who want to advance their career and climb the corporate ladder. Do not be around having entrepreneurial dreams and be immersed in a corporate ladder circle. Do not be around having corporate ladder dreams and being immersed in an entrepreneur journey. It is not in alignment with where you want to go. We're not knocking what people want to do. Somebody has to do that work. Somebody has to do this work. Once you decide what it is that maybe you want to paint, if you want to paint, don't go hanging with mechanics. Go find painters. If you want to be a doctor, don't go hang with policemen. Go be a doctor hang with doctors for the majority of your time. You may have mechanic friends and construction friends and all these. It's fine. I cannot choose your friends. You have your friends. Your friends are your friends. I'm not telling you to cut off people. I'm telling you that you must have a time allotted, decent, considerable amount, sufficient time allotted to spend in the time around people who are on the same mission. Have a great one, guys. Always a pleasure. We'll continue. We have about 2 more or 3 more don'ts that we'll look at as we go on into this series of the don'ts of a new year. The don'ts of that you must be careful of. You must look out for if you want change, if you want to reach your goals, if you want to see different results. Have a great one. Thank you.